Monkeys banging on typewriters. Okay, we're beginning lesson 1. That's pages 1 through 6 of Mandolin Masterclass by Brad Laird. And I want to encourage you to do a little monkeying around when you read this. This is not actually the purpose of the way the book is laid out, but to me, these are good exercises to kind of give an idea of, try to better understand the material. So Brad mentions at the beginning of this book, he gives a warning not to get discouraged. You may get overwhelmed. There's so much material in this book. It's just ridiculous. We could study it for several years, and who knows, I might, but we're going to do this series of lessons and try to go through the book. And I want to encourage you to pick up your mandolin and do some things as you go along. This first chapter or section has to do with monkeying around with the mandolin. There's a lot that Brad says here, a lot of things he touches on. One is how making mistakes and coming up with unexpected sounds on the mandolin can lead to creativity. That's a very important point, and something that means a lot to me. As I read this book, I sit around and noodle on the mandolin, and sometimes I write whole songs. Sometimes I write pieces of songs that sound really, really good to me. And you never know where they're going to be used, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, that's what music is all about. Being able to express some creativity from yourself. And the point that Brad makes is that the more you know about how to speak a language, the better you can communicate in that language. Therefore, we're studying about music in this ebook, in this series of lessons. We're studying a lot about music and how to put together, how to speak the language of music so that we can better express what's inside us. Now, sitting around banging on your instrument can be risky. According to Brad on page 1, it can be a risky thing. What does he mean by that? I think he means that if you just, that's all you do, is make random sounds with no direction, and if that's all you do and you never improve, then you're not going to get very far. But sitting around making random sounds, or rather, it doesn't have to be random. Let's say you're just playing in a certain key, and the example that Brad gives on the mistake he made, trying to play that and playing this instead. If you look at those, one seems to be in the key of A, and the other in D minor. So you take one of those, for instance, and if those don't suit you, take any other scale or any other key, or start on any note that you want and just start noodling around. I'm not going to sit here and do that. It would be boring. It would take too long. But I can tell you that by doing things like this, I have been able to, over weeks and months, put sounds together that were pleasing to me and come up with things like this. Now that's not a song, it's just a little snippet that I had developed, and it took me a couple of months just noodling around and using those same sorts of sounds that Brad was using. Anyway, what I would like for you to do in this lesson is think about what the monkeys were doing, think about the differences between each monkey's approach, and be a monkey yourself. Pick up your mandolin and just play with it. You can play around certain notes, melodies, tunes that you might be a little familiar with, but deviate and try to create something on your own. So that's the first part of this. The second part, as we get into learning the language of music, are the scales. And Brad shows the G major scale as well as the G sharp major scale. So in video 2 of lesson 1, which is coming up next, I'm going to talk about how to use these scales in practice. So have fun and tune into video 2.